Welcome to Éxito in Minutes. I'm here with
Alex Espinosa,
my co-host, and I'm Troy Blanchard. Thanks for joining us today. We're super excited. Éxito in Minutes is all focused about how in minutes we can learn the best practices, valuable tips to help you achieve your full potential. We're inviting experts to come in and they're going to share inspirational stories. Our main purpose is when you're concluding listening to these podcasts that you will be a better person and take some of those best practices, learn not just from us, but from our guests. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Éxito in Minutes. We are so excited to be here. I'm here with my co-host,
Alex Espinosa,
and we have a guest,
Ligia Melo.
We are so excited that you joined us today. Yesterday, I got to tell a little story. I was sitting over at a gym called Upgrade Fitness, and as I was there, Ligia and I started talking, and the next thing you knew, there was these people stacking up behind Ligia just to hear what she was talking about. And it was beautiful. And I thought, she's got to be on the podcast. So we got a great episode coming up. We've already done it in Spanish. Now we're going to do it in English. So here we go. Alex, what do you think the first question is for Ligia?
The most important one. Tell us about yourself. Who are you? Who is Ligia?
This is my first time speaking English, so I will try to be the best. Okay?
Yeah, you're doing great.
Okay, I'm Ligia. I have 45 years, and I'm I'm born in a family. My mom was worked at a farmer. He was I don't know what to say, obrera.
Yeah.
Work farmer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my father was shoemaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
In a time when people used to make the shoes by hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you think this is not the best job because it's the menos pagado.
Yeah, it's the least paid, right? It's a cobbler, right? The least.
Yeah, least paid. So when my mom was a child and she was night, my grandma told you give her to a house, any house, and it said this is my girl. So putting work and into in the house to work in any.
So how old was she when they?
9.
So 9 years old, dropped her off at somebody else's house, and just said, "Start working."
Let it go. Yeah.
As a maid.
Did she live there at that house?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I suppose that.
Yeah.
In the case of my father was alone in the street since 14 years old.
Lived in the streets. He lived in the streets.
Lived in the streets. Uh-huh.
Okay, so wait, we gotta just 1 second here. Imagine this, okay? So now you've got her parents, right? One is 9 years old. Parents are like, ciao, you're gonna go work at somebody else's house to earn money for the family, which was a necessity, right? And then your dad, by the age of 14, is living on the street. So you've got a 9-year-old and a 14-year-old that will one day be married, and they're already working. Okay, so now I got to hear your parents' story. What happened from there?
In my house, in my case, my mom, she opposed. She believed in the education, in my education, and I studied in a private school. And then when I finish, I go to the university and I have an engineer in business administration. And when I left, I start to work.
Okay, wait. We got to back up. This is so good. Yeah. Okay, so your mom and dad get married. Yeah. How old? Do you know how old they were when they got married?
Oh, my mom was 20 and my dad 32.
Okay.
12 years between
12 years
us.
apart.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And your dad was still a cobbler. He was still a shoemaker. And your mom was working in a factory at this time. Okay, so mom's working in a factory. Dad is a cobbler. How did you go to private school?
Work, ahorrar. What do you say, ahorrar?
Saved.
And it saved. And used to be conscious about what is the most important versus that is not necessary.
What's not necessary?
My mom always think that is the important in life is education. Education, health. If you have health and you have education, so
you have everything.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Okay, so now we've got parents. Like, think of the parents, right? And now they are married, and they're obviously their income is lower, right? They're not making very much money, but they decide to save money. And this is such a beautiful example. It's like our previous podcast when Angel Chicaiza was like, I saved $100 a month for months to have enough money to start a company, right? It's the same with the parents. They saved money, very little income to send their daughter to private school. So you go to private school, then you come back.
And the SPA is a private university too.
And then a private university.
And then when I started working at a bank.
Yeah.
So I started in human resources. And I think I thought that I need more education in that way. And I studied Diplomado de Recursos Humanos.
So yeah, you got your degree in human resources.
In human resources.
But you had the job before the degree, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so this is this is a great example. She already has her job, but she decides, I want more education in my job. So if you're thinking about your job right now, a lot of people fossilize, they don't grow. But here's a perfect example. She's saying, I got the job, I'm working in Recursos Humanos, so I'm gonna go get more education so I'm better at my job. So I love that. Okay, so you get your degree in Recursos Humanos. Yeah. Then what's next?
And in the same bank, people talk with me and send in my profile that I was very good with people, speak in Spanish, not in English. I really good speak and send things. So propose me to change the area and go to the business. To send the service of the bank.
So she gets her degree in human resources. The bank talks you to change departments. Yeah. So that new department is business services?
Yeah, business services. And I in that time, I need more about the finance. So start in the UTPL University. Okay. To get a certification with more knowledge about finance.
Wow. How many people would do that? She's already got the job again. She's already in the department, but she decides to go get more education again. That's beautiful. Okay, then what happened?
And then I was very afraid to lose my job because not necessarily you need good or bad employee. Okay. Maybe it's a lucky time. Maybe the job close situation, a political situation, have to close that.
Like, no matter what, because you might lose your job either way. The political situation is good or bad. Yeah. Some
good or bad employee, like she's saying, right?
Like it's nothing to see with that. It's like, thank you for everything. We have to let you go. It's like no matter what. Mm-hmm. That's something that might happen.
And you lose the job. And this is very important because seeing money, how you live.
Exactly.
And that way I was looking for another opportunity and go to another bank, another institute of bank. But in this time I have to sell technology. So other things.
So you got Recursos Humanos, Business Center. Yeah. Now you're selling technology. Yeah. How did you learn to sell technology?
Where I decided to start to learn in San Francisco.
University
of San Francisco. And that way, in that place, I get a new certificate about marketing, about technology, a little bit. So that was very good for me. And I decided to do an MBA.
Oh, yeah.
But I was married or lived with my partner and with my boy, my son. Yeah. So I had to study the MBA.
So you're working and studying.
Working with mom. Quehaceres domésticos, what to say in English?
Domestical responsibilities like household chores.
And to do cats.
And 2 kids. Wow. That is fun. So this is a perfect example. So Ligia, by her example, she like you just heard, she's got a full plate, right? Mom, wife, and she's studying and full-time job. And what does she do? She decides to go get her MBA. Yeah. How did that help you? So you went from your MBA and then you started selling?
Yeah, it's very interesting because the MBA for me was very important to organize my life. Yeah, because the MBA it was a distance. So if you study on distance, you have to be very disciplined to read to Monday to some. Because if you don't do the working, or you don't read that you have to read, and 1 month you have to present the projects. If you didn't after before the homework, you don't have, and it's impossible.
Then what happened? So now you got your MBA, and then so did you stay at a bank? Do you work at a bank now?
No, now after this other job, my partner proposed me to go to work in another own business.
Okay.
Now I work in a gym.
In a gym, Upgrade Fitness. Look it up. Upgrade Fitness, amazing gym.
Yes. And then in this gym, I have to take other skills.
Okay.
Because I know technology, human resources, finance, but I didn't know about training. But now I have a yoga certificate of nutrition, certificate of the entrenador personal training.
Wow.
And maybe in this year, I have to do other certificate because I need in this kind of job that I do in this moment. For me, it's very important that the people think that 40 years, I don't have work, so I wanna be do now. That is not important. The important is work in yourself.
Especially here in Ecuador, right?
Yeah.
So like she's advocating, even if you're 40, so here in Ecuador, if you're listening in Ecuador, a lot of people, it's very traditional. You'll get into a car and an Uber driver will be like, I'm 42 years old, so my time has passed, right? And I'm an engineer, but I can't get a job anywhere. It's like this self-defeating mentality that cycles. And perfect example, you're around 40 and you go, and now all of a sudden you already have all this great experience to start a company, right? To start a company and to be part of the gym. But now you've got to learn all these new topics. Yeah. And what do? She goes and gets all these certificates. And she gets all this training to become a professional in all these different areas. I love that.
And the most important thing is that all that certificate and the experience help me now to do the work now, because when people come with me and she or they say, I want to start to training, but I don't have where or how to begin.
Yeah. How to begin. Yeah.
But I know help them because I'm coaching sports, coaching in sport or a personal. So this is a great tool to help to people.
Oh yeah. And that's probably one of the areas that's most important. I mean, how many people walk into a gym and they know what they're doing for the first time? So that is amazing. And that's great that you're able to help them. What a beautiful story, right? The story of coming from parents that learned to overcome, to save money on a small budget, the importance of education, the pivoting, constant pivoting in her life. And this is one of the things that I think is one of my big takeaways so far, is that even though you get the job, don't stop educating. Focus on exactly what you feel you should learn to be the best you can be in that job. So let's keep going. I know we only have a few minutes left. Let's ask some questions. What's percolating in your mind that you want to ask?
What I'm thinking right now is like you've been pivoting and doing all those things to grow, and now you're in a point where you're also, besides that you have many education about finances and all that stuff, now you're a personal coach. So now you have to train people in their mindset of being sports people or a personal one. So what would be a great advice that you can give to our audience about how to deal with yourself? Because I think that's something important. That's something you've been doing through your whole life. So what would you tell them?
Working yourself. This is the best. If you work in yourself, if you work in your heart, if you work in your mind, it doesn't matter people around you. If people think that I am fat or I ugly, it's not a matter. The most important thing is what do you think about you?
I love that. It's the biggest barrier. Our biggest barrier for all of us in our lives is ourselves. Yeah. It's the intrusive thoughts that come in. like she said, who cares what anybody else thinks? What do you think about yourself? So focus in on yourself. I love that advice.
And I like to say in English, but I know what to say.
Okay.
Lo que decía mi papá,
Okay.
no es pecado nacer pobre,
It's not a sin. It's not a sin to be poor.
pero sí es pecado morir pobre.
It is a sin to die poor. That's her father's saying.
This is important because you have the tools. You have your hands. If you don't have any sick, or if you don't sick, or if you walk, if you think, if you see, you have everything. You have YouTube, you have Spotify, you have podcasts, you have audiobooks. You were talking about audiobooks to improve ourselves. So many tools to improve. Exactly.
And also being, you know what, being healthy, it's one of the most important things. It's like if you don't have your health in the 100%, there's no way you can access to it. So think about it. You have everything to be successful in minutes. And also one thing that I would love to recall from what you were saying is that many people are being successful being an entrepreneur, and there are many other people that are being successful being an employee. So my question is it bad to be an entrepreneur or to fail being one? Or maybe is it bad to be an employee? Because we have these things like you've been talking about yourself being a successful employee. Now you're an entrepreneur, you have your own company and you're being successful at that. So what would be your advice to those that are trying to be successful in either of those two areas?
I think that the most important thing is what I want to do. And maybe my skills is not a good for an employee. Yeah, employee. Yeah. Entrepreneur. 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 Yeah. But if I a good employee, it's okay. It's okay because in the world, it's not impossible to have a lot of employees. Yeah. Without emprendedores. Yes, entrepreneurs. That word. Without an entrepreneur, it's not my friend. Yeah. that word no. So in the world, we need both. Yes. Both are important. Yes. But if you don't the skill, it doesn't matter. Do the best in the way that you are the best. Yes, I love that. That's perfect. Yeah. If you want to be a good mother, so go a good mother. A good mother. If you want to be, a good singer, and you have that skill, so sing, try, work, prepare, study in that way. Yeah. This is the most important. Consistency. Again, she's talking about this theme of consistency and pivoting and just constantly adaptability. Yes. Excellent. In the previous podcast, I talked a little bit about 2 ways to improve. It's not only the way that you're improving, like she's talking about, there's also improving on yourself that she spoke about, which is self-reflection once a week. Sit back and say, what can I do better this week that I could have done better last week? The idea is to have this self-reflection with humility and saying, okay, I'm not perfect and I can improve every single week. So what should I do next week? The second thing is, and this takes true humility, go to your partner, go to your best friend, go to your mom, go to your dad, go to your sister, go to your brother, and ask them, what can I do better? And have them give you a list and take it from an area of, I want to improve, and they're helping me improve. When I first got married, I gotta say, I was in debate class. And so I would manage to my advantage, right, a discussion or a debate. And because I had some experience, let's just say I had room to improve. And so one day Daphne showed up and she had this list for me. And she's just like, hey, when I start to talk about these things, you start talking around them and we never get to the end of the point. And when you say this, it makes me feel this. And she gave me a list, and that list was amazing. So what I'm saying is she had to give me that list maybe 2 or 3 or 4 times. And then afterwards, I learned to tone down my debate skills and really focus in on those areas that I could learn from, right? Those areas that were on that list. So it's like a personal capital inventory where here are the areas of how you can improve, honey. And then I would read them with humility and say, okay, I'll work on that. So that was another way. I love how she talked about work on yourself and then also let other people help you.
Any last words before we finish? Any last consejos?
I think that the best important thing is to be present. That now is now.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't you can't live in the past.
Yeah.
Because the past
It's over.
is over.
Yeah.
You can change anything, but and also you can live in the future, because the future maybe tomorrow
It's over.
I die and
Yeah.
I suffer because I chose you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now this present is very important, and you can do anything now
I love
in
that.
this moment.
I love that. Living in the present. We just live in the present, focus on the present. Don't beat yourself up on the past, and learn the best hábitos, the best habits. I almost had you translate for me. So yeah, learn the best habits you can. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you,
We
guys,
really
and
appreciate
thank
it.
you for listening to this podcast. And I hope that these words help you and help to be a better person. That's all.
Awesome. That's perfect. Let's just end it there then. So thank you for joining us again. We are going to have Ligia back on one more. We got to hear. She had a beautiful story of her life's journey and education, continuous improvement. And we're going to come back and hear what are the best things, the best practices, the best learning lessons that she learned that you can apply in your life. So thanks for joining us. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you.